That video was powerful, and we didn't even see it at its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
What gave you the idea to create something like that?
Well, actually, the guy who created it, Brad Burke, is a advertising maven by day, but he does a sports podcast in his free time for fun. And he noticed that there would be these sort of one-off articles about cyberbullying and especially about the harassment of female sports reporters. And people would get all up in arms about them for a day or a week, and then they would kind of disappear and everyone would go back to their everyday life. And he realized that for those of us that were living it, it didn't pop up just once a week. It was an everyday sort of barrage.
And when you say that people do this daily, I mean, I think people forget that even though we're on TV or people are on the radio or someone's your neighbor, like these things hurt.
Right.
Whenever you see them online too, it like really registers that they're saying it to your face, it feels like.
Well, that was the part of the video that they really wanted to accentuate, is that it is much easier to sort of dull down the effect of the words when they're just written. And when you have someone saying it to your face, you're reminded of their power. I actually realized in doing the video that over the 7 or so years that I've been working for ESPN, which is right around the same time that Twitter came into existence, maybe a couple years before that, I've sort of been able to numb myself to them, which feels like a very good protection of self, but is actually really dangerous because there are people who, if they're creating 30, 40 accounts, and every time they get blocked, they create a new one, that's actually really potentially dangerous and scary. And that's the kind of thing you shouldn't numb yourself to. That's the kind of thing that maybe you need to reach out to authorities or to security at your company and actually say, this is problematic and this has gone beyond the norm. I also just think there is something to be said for specific jobs, especially male-dominated fields, and how the trolling or the insults are not just, I don't agree with what you're saying. It's, you don't belong here. You're not allowed to be here just by virtue of being a woman. And that kind of harassment is so much more, I think, problematic and bothersome. That's a larger societal issue that they're reflecting that still exists.
How do you handle what comes your way?
Well, it's interesting. Everyone's full of opinions on this, right? So I hear it from, oh, stop feeding the trolls. Don't respond to them. Don't give them attention. Just block them. Just mute them. But then, of course, when I mute people, people say, oh, you're not strong enough to engage in debates. And a debate is not someone telling me that they hope I die.
Right.
That's not there's nothing to be gained from that conversation. So it's not worthwhile to me. So I do a lot of blocking. I've actually started muting on Twitter a lot because with blocking, they know they've been blocked. That allows them to keep creating new accounts because they want me to see it. If I mute them, they're just yelling at a brick wall. It takes them a long time to realize that I'm not getting any of what they're sending. I'm not seeing it.
Well, I'm so thankful you created that video because that's definitely, it's made me think twice before I put anything out there. And, you know, I'm generally a very positive person, but it makes you think before you post. And I think that's a beautiful thing you created.
Thank you.